30 minutes. You still have 130 seconds. Okay. It's your turn. 3 minutos, por favor.
There are several uses of the word quantum that are not restricted to a subatomic particle moving from one location to another location without going through the space between. That's what a leap is, a quantum leap in quantum physics. But the broader community uses quantum for any phenomenon, any space-time event that exists in one location in space or time and then exists in another location of space and time without going through the intervening space. It's called the discontinuity. And the use I have given it is a very broad use. Of course, Dr. Dawkins rightly claims that it is a metaphorical use, but he should understand that all science is metaphor anyway, to begin with. Nobody's actually, explained how a subatomic particle appears out of a non-empirical realm. And then when it's not being observed or it's not interacting with other particles, how does it go back? So, yes, quantum leap has a much broader connotation, including if you watch Star Trek, when the captain says, "Beam me up, Scotty," and Scotty presses a button, and the captain disappears here and shows up there without going through the space in between. So I agree I've used it metaphorically, but in fact all science is a metaphor.
Metaphors are extremely valuable. I use them myself all the time, but a good metaphor is one that clarifies and doesn't obscure.
For you, sir, it confuses you.
Please,
it's not
Deepak.
confusing a lot of people out there.
Please.
Perhaps you should catch up.
You talked about the analogy being, in this case, going from one place to another without passing through the intermediates. That's a hell of a leap for you to make. When you talk about the origin of life, there is no such thing as not passing through the intermediate stages. There were intermediate stages. We just don't know what they were at present. That's a very different thing. In the case of gaps in the fossil record, the gaps in the fossil record apply quite simply because not everything fossilizes. It's rather a good thing it doesn't, otherwise we'd be snowed under with fossils. The origin of language, a mysterious and fascinating question. We don't know what the intermediate stages were, but we're absolutely sure there were intermediate stages. There were intermediate stages in all three cases. Now, it is true that in everyday language, in the English language, we do use the phrase quantum leap to mean something rather vague, but we don't bamboozle audiences by deliberately confusing that with a modern physics explanation which everybody, including you and me, finds hard to understand.
Incidentally, because I was coming here and because I've been heavily criticized by the mainstream scientific community for my book Quantum Healing, including by Dr. Dawkins, I just, out of curiosity this morning, went to Google to look at the reviews of Quantum Healing when it first appeared in 1988. And there's a really good review, guys, in the New England Journal of Medicine of that book. Okay? So, again, Dr. Dawkins would like to check it out, just like he wants to check out Freeman Dyson, because it doesn't appear with his worldview. I have just had a paper accepted in a journal called Neuroquantology with 2 quantum physicists, including a chaired professor in a university in California. It's going to appear in December 25. I have written papers on quantum consciousness in the Journal of Cosmology, a special edition that was edited by Sir Roger Penrose. So, I am not that loose with my language. I know when I use metaphor, and I know when I use it accurately.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you very much. Let me just share very few things with you. And this will be the last opportunity to say something because it was part of the agreement. The big question was, is religion good or bad for humanity? And I know it's a very big question for 3 minutes to answer. But I don't want to leave this auditorium without having the chance to listen to your opinion. So we will begin with you. 3 minutes.
Is religion good or bad? It's neither and it's both. Religion, like any institution, has succumbed to cronyism, power-mongering, influence peddling, corruption, bureaucracy, and all the things that happen with organizing any activity. Is it good? Well, people have had religious experiences throughout the ages, which include transcendence, epistemological humility, reverence, gratitude, the feeling and emergence of Platonic qualities like truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, understanding that there is evolution in the universe. These are, I think, religious experiences, and they have been there throughout history. There is also, through religious experience, a shift in identity from personal identity to a broader identity that allows those people who have that experience to overcome their fear of death, to lose their fear of death. And there is, again, what I said, this deep humility and gratitude and reverence for the mystery of our existence. That's the religious experience. Now, of course, it can be corrupted, and people go to war and kill each other and do all kinds of abysmal things in the name of God and the name of religion. But that doesn't mean that the religious experience itself is invalid. Does science have good or bad aspects to it? A fragmented science, in the absence of evolutionary changes in our spirit or consciousness, creates the technologies I mentioned. You know, mechanized death, global warming, climate change, extinction of species, risking our own extinction. So I believe that we do need a broader science that accommodates spirituality, the spiritual experience, so we use what we know from science wisely, so that we can make the best use of scientific technologies. But I do say that science will never give us the answer into the meaning of our existence, into why there is a universe, why there is consciousness. Only consciousness can experience consciousness. That's why we need spirituality, if by spirituality I mean self-awareness, self-reflection, transcendence, and our own desire to know ourselves. In my view, our search for God is our highest instinct to know ourselves, to find meaning in our own lives, to understand why there is evolution, what is the purpose of existence.
Thank you very much.
The question is not whether individual people who happen to be religious or who happen not to be religious are good or bad. The question is whether religion itself is. I think there are aspects of religion which are bad in themselves. I think that the idea of blind faith, believing something without evidence, and sheltering behind the right to hold faith, such that you can justify doing bad things because your religion, your faith tells you it's the right thing to do. Many, many good and righteous people who believe themselves to be good and righteous have done terrible things precisely because they believe that they're doing it for their God. So faith, blind faith, can have that bad effect. For myself as a scientist, I'm accustomed to saying that the thing that I really object to about religion is that it teaches us to be satisfied with not understanding, teaches us to be satisfied with pseudo-explanations which are really not explanations at all, things that sound good. Things that sound like an explanation but which really aren't, which appeal to the emotions but don't actually explain anything. So I think that religion in that sense can be the enemy of science, the enemy of truth. But this evening I'm reflecting more that what may really be the enemy of truth and the enemy of science is willful obscurantism, whether it comes from religion or not.
Wow.